Why would you ignore it? Because if you don't ignore it, you have to think, he's not who I thought he was. And that's really not a good thing to think, because people are really, really, really complicated. And if they're not who you think they are, you have no idea who they might be. And you also might think, well, maybe I'm not who I think I am, because after all, I got sucked into this situation. I thought I'd pretty much understood the world, and it turns out that I certainly don't understand the opposite gender, and there's some indication that I really don't even understand myself, because fundamentally I'm so clueless. And then you might think, well, when did this start, this cluelessness? How long have I been blind? Well, do you really want to ask that question? Well, not generally, right? It's easier to keep the dragon in the closet, which is where it tends to live. What happens when you encounter something you don't expect? For a long time, psychologists thought that people learned fear, right? So your typical person, your typical lab rat, was a calm creature. Now it's a funny thing, because if you take a lab rat out of his home cage and you put him in a new cage where you want to teach him, say, to be afraid of something, to be afraid of a light paired with a shock, which is a typical psychological experiment. The funny thing about the rat is you've got to let him calm down before he's normal. Well, except that you might think that the not calm rat is also the normal rat, right? You take the rat out of his cage and you put him in the new cage, and what does he do? He goes like this. Why?